Morning.
Morning, Fred Chiappetta. How are we
Yes.
doing today?
Great.
We're pretty close to no longer being in this store anymore. How are you feeling about that?
Sad and very happy.
Yeah.
It's time. Just the other day, I was sitting in the middle of the store. It was all empty, and I had a little tear running down because of all the happiness that's been in the store. And there's been some sadness. I can hear the people. It's so quiet. I can hear people talking. I can hear people laughing. I can see people crying for joy. That's a good feeling.
And then is this your third store you've been in? This one? How many stores have you been through?
This is my
100
third
years?
move. This is my third move.
Okay.
Yeah, in 1989, I moved to 39th Avenue. And then in 1997, I moved here. 98, somewhere around there. And I'm now in this new place.
And you're the perfect person to ask from when you started Chiappetta Shoes, what has the transformation that you've seen from what it was when you began versus where we're going to be in the new store?
Oh, that's a great question. Business has been wonderful. Transformation. My mother always says, if you don't change, you'll die. And I believe in that. In fact, my thesis in college was on J.C. Penney's about how they did business back in the 70s and how successful they were. They were the king. And I learned a lot from that in college. And I kept that knowledge and I did it in today's day and age of business.
But going back to just the 102 years now we're at, you've been a huge part of it for a majority of those years. What do you believe has allowed you guys to continuously solve full problems for this many years, and what do you believe is the success behind what you guys do?
Caring for our customers, believing in the system on how to help people, really understanding where big business and other businesses really don't care. They just want to make money. And money is not an issue with me. It's helping people. If I help enough people, then the money comes. When I was 17, 18 years old, a gentleman walked in the store and he was in a lot of foot pain. And I tried to take his shoe off and there was blood all in it. He had a nail stick through his whole foot. He worked at American Motors at that time.
Oh my gosh.
And he was a diabetic. This is when I learned about diabetes. And he had pain, but he had no feeling. And it's called the insensitive foot. And I was 17, 18 years old, and I said, you got to go to the hospital. And he lost his foot. He lost his leg 5 years later. And but I had to help him with the other foot. And I kept that other foot from not getting ulcers, not losing that foot. That's when I really got into the feeling of helping people with proper shoes and what people don't understand. They say, oh, my feet hurt. I was just talking to a 24-year-old waitress and she says her feet hurt. I said, at 24 years old, your feet should not hurt. She's wearing cheap, bad shoes. And it's that simple.
So when it comes to the podorthic side of things, were you the pioneer of the podorthic side, or did you have any parents, grandparents that taught you more on that and you helped it evolve to what it is today?
Well, my grandfather started and he used to go to the VA and sculpture prostheses. He was an artist. He knew how to make shoes. But that's how we got into really the orthopedic business. Then my father went to the school of Dr. Scholes, was taught by Dr. Scholes himself, and he was making orthotics through spring steel. He was pounding on it. When I was a little boy, I used to pound on this little spring steel plate. We'd heat it up, call it the blacksmith days, and we'd pound on it. And then he died as I was 10 years old, and my mother took over, and she went to the school of Dr. Scholl's. And she was doing the same type of work. I didn't want to do any of that stuff. I went to Iowa to go to college and be a politician and slash attorney. And I met this wonderful woman, and I came back to Kenosha. And I went to job, and didn't like it. I liked being independent. So that's how I got back into the business. And I said, when I got into the business, what am I going to do to succeed? And I said, I'm going to go back to my grandfather's era, my father and mother's era. I'm going to do what they've been successful at, helping people with problem feet. But we're also in the fashion business. We're not an orthopedic store. There's no such thing as orthopedics anymore. There is comfort, and we're in fashion. And all of that plays a role. And that's where no one in the podorthic field does. Majority of them just do medically. I don't like saying medically because the foot is it's beautiful. And we want to enhance on it. We want to make people feel good. And that's the key to that.
And from this store that we're in, from all the old ads that I've seen us create, where I feel like this was the store that helped transform being just a medical end of things, where you can also now have fashionable shoes, but also still help solve their foot problem with the custom orthotics, with the over-the-counter orthotics, and the podorthis on hand that allows people to have great shoes like New Balance, On Running, Hoka, etc., from maybe what you guys had 20 years ago, where it was a smaller selection.
Yeah, one time I used to hate customers say, "Is this all you have?" They drive me crazy. And my father and mother had about 15 styles of shoes to offer. And I came in and it was like 100 styles, and it still wasn't enough. Now we have it's at least over 1,000 different styles. And I told my boys it's going to be 2,000 styles soon. That's why we have to grow. And the consumer wants a lot. Mm-hmm. And they deserve it. And that's what we're here. That's why we're going bigger, to keep up with the times.
And I can definitely see that with all the conversations or loud conversations, arguments, whatever you may want to say about all the new shoes coming to the new store. But we also, I think it's a good conversation, arguments to potentially have because of where we're at now, to be able to have that wide variety of footwear to offer to our customers. Speaking of that, when it comes to Lori Chiappetta, she's had a big impact on this store specifically. What can you say about her and the impact of all the footwear selections and personal stuff that we're able to offer today?
Well, they have a saying, and I truly believe it: behind every great man is a woman. And she is that woman. Why she came, I wanted her to be home with the boys after school, because that's when trouble happens. And that's how she started out. Mm-hmm. Now she puts more hours in than any of us. She keeps me on the straight and narrow. Her input is great. Our fashion, our accessories, the look of the store has been a lot of her touch. So and she's the manager of the store. She runs things. She keeps me abreast of what's happening, because I tend to go off in 10 different tangents. I'm like my oldest son is like me. I'm kind of scatterbrained in that regard.
And then just with this store, family, this has been the store where you guys pretty much all grew up in as your tight-knit family. Tony and Nick, they started the operations in this store specifically. What can you say about them and how they've been able to continue to grow on what you and Lori have created, and your parents and great-grandparents and whatnot, to what we're going to be moving into shortly?
Okay. Well, Lori, all the good stuff my kids have become is from Lori. I taught them all the bad stuff. I'm proud of that. I pounded on them. I'm very tough on my boys on how to be a good, successful person. Successful at grades, successful at sports, successful at business. That's life. I taught them to find details because every great leader, businessman, his attention is to detail, and I'm very big on that. And the boys are like that. Yeah, what they brought, a lot of the shop. I'm very proud of them. Is a lot of me and Lori's how a shop should look. I don't want to look like your average shop. And the boys bring warmth to this shop. This is entertainment. This is my stage. And I want to feel good. I want the consumer to feel good. And that's what they brought. We got a wonderful chandelier. I have 20 people that work for me. 15 are full-time. And we're growing. There is not a store in Kenosha, including the big stores, retail-wise, that have that many full-time employees. That's what Kenosha is coming and shopping to us because they like us. They should like us because we give them that entertainment. We give them the fine service. We're very detail orientated, and the boys bring that to the shop, and they're going to bring more of it. People were afraid of this new move saying, oh, you guys are going to get too big and you're not going to be yourself. We have so much warmth in this new store. It's incredible.
And talk to me more about the new store. So what all got into why you chose that store? We're still staying in Kenosha. And what can everyone look forward to with what you guys built out in this beautiful new building?
Okay. Well, Kenosha is a great town. It's in a great location. We're between Chicago and we're between Milwaukee. There's millions of people. So Kenosha is a great town because of everything. And and there's people from Illinois coming to Kenosha in leaps and bounds. Probably 30% of our homes being bought are from Illinois. So we're grateful for that. That's why we're growing. In Kenosha's growing. And so it's a community. It's still a small, knit community, which is great because everyone talks. And we've created such a buzz now that, everyone's waiting for the Chiappetta Shoes to open up. They want to see it. People love success. People love seeing new things. That was that J.C. Penney's thing. They would, every 7 years, remodel, do something. I've kept that to that level. I even told the boys in this place, in 7 years' time, you're remodeling. We're changing. And I'm already thinking of the future. And even in this new store hasn't opened.
You're already thinking of the new remodel when we just...
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. What's next? That's how you got to stay ahead of the competition. That's it's just the warmth of people, and like I said, it's an entertainment business. People want to be entertained, and I'm willing to offer it. My staff is willing to offer it. I got the greatest staff ever, and they're good people. They have families. They have children. It's good people. They're getting married. I like working with a lot of the young people. And I like working with the old people, as myself. But this is not a job for me. This is a lifestyle. My family is my customers. My family is my work, the people that work for me. My family is my children. They're my partners, my children. And I truly believe that. And when it comes to my grandparents, someday when I didn't know my grandfather, Chiappetta, and someday when I meet him, I hope he's going to be proud of me. Same with my father, because I was 10 years old when he passed away. My Uncle Charlie, who's still alive, he's 100 years old, he said my father and him they just had fun in business. They didn't work as hard as I do, and I'm not trying to put a feather in my cap. He says in the 50s and 60s, times are so great they didn't have to do anything. People just flowed in.
Mm-hmm.
And in today's day and age, you got to work really hard at it. And I'm proud of my family and I'm proud of my staff because everyone works very, very hard. And I make sure of that. So, in that regards, and my mother, a great woman, she took over a business. She was 36 years old. She knew nothing about the shoe business, nothing at all. And she became a successful business person. She kept the store alive. And she was my mother and my father. She ruled the roost. And I give her a lot. That was my upbringing. That was really my upbringing. So I give her credit for that, big time.
I'd say it definitely has shown and paid off with the new building that will be in shortly from this recording. But when it comes to this new building, what can you tell all the customers, clients that they can expect with the new Chiappetta Shoes experience on 75th Street?
You'll be wowed. This is what business used to be in the 60s and 70s and 80s. Nothing new. It's just going to be more warmth. It's just going to be more compassion, more styles. It's just going to be a lot of the young people won't know this, and I think they'll be wowed too. We should put your shoes on you. We should take your socks off, put new socks on, walk you out to the car with the bag of shoes. I want to, people cry because they feel good, they look good. That's a great feeling. Buying a pair of shoes, that makes you feel good. It's not the shoe.
Mm-hmm.
It's the feeling.
And that's where I can tip my cap to you guys, where with all the technology that is out nowadays, where we're still bringing people into the store for that experience that you guys offer. Just kind of cap off this whole interview with the old school sit, fit service. Why do you guys believe that has been so successful? Because I see it day in and day out, even with people that can shop online left and right, they still come to us for that experience that we offer.
Why am I building such a big store? Because my customers see it, they want it, they crave it, and they want that attention, and I'm willing to give it. We're giving them the proper styles. I'm listening to my customers. Who do I listen to? My customers. I sit and listen what they want, what they need. And that's what we're here for.
Love to hear it. Last thing, this is where you can talk directly to the camera over my left shoulder. This is your opportunity just to thank the customers that allowed us to be a part of the journey and build out what they have to look forward to in store.
I want to say thank you to all my customers. You made me great. You made me feel special. And just thank you. Thank you for stopping in. In my store, I always said, you don't have to come in to buy a pair of shoes. You just got to come in to look at the new store. Say hi. I don't push. If you want to buy a pair of shoes, buy a pair of shoes. If you want to buy a little polish, I'll give you the same service that buying 10 pairs of shoes to buying a little can of polish. This is a community. And that's just a great thing about being in the shoe business. It's a lifestyle. It's fun, and you guys made me very, very successful, and I thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time and looking forward to a new store.
Thank you.
Thank you.